Well, hey. It's Tiiu Napp and my dear friend.
Dr. Michael Gross, how are you? Thank you for joining us. I
We are
appreciate
here
you
today.
being here.
I'm sorry, Michael, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay. I just said I appreciate you all joining us. We're going to have a great
Absolutely.
conversation this evening, so really beautiful.
I am so glad everybody is joining us as well because Michael has a phenomenal message for us. And we wanted to bring happy holidays to all of you. Wish you the wonderful blessings of the holiday season. And also, if you happen to be up here in the Pacific Northwest, shall we tell them, Michael, what's going on up here if
Oh,
they're not from here?
go right ahead.
Okay. We have we've been dealing with snow for well, some of us up here in the mountain where I live, we've been up here dealing with it for over 2 weeks, and I'm a little bit tired of being cold, but but because of that, he has nicknamed me Nanak of the North, and what better place than from here, right? However,
Absolutely.
so a little bit of holiday frivolity because I wanted to let all of you know that, yeah, I'm a Canadian. However, are you ready, Michael? Should I do it right now?
Yes.
Okay. We are all
Unlimited.
unlimited. You hear about this all the time. Michael always tells you that at the end of this message, at the end of his calls. This is exactly what we have to believe, that we truly are unlimited, no matter where we live, no matter where we are, no matter how young or old we are. This is the gift of understanding what our awesome Dr. Michael Gross is sharing with us. So, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and introduce you, Michael, because I'm really grateful that everybody's here and I know how busy it is this time of year. So, we'll get right to it. And thank you so much for letting me have this couple minutes to talk about the holidays. And I'm a little giddy because I've been out in the snow all day. Okay, so Dr. Michael Gross is an author, professional keynote speaker, transformational coach, and an entrepreneur. For more than 3 decades, he's been on a spiritual path as an intuitive, a healer, a spiritual counselor, and an amazing teacher. Through the guidance of spirit, Michael has assisted others in their personal quest for self empowerment, helping them to create the lives that they have long sought and to bring forth their own intuitive abilities. Michael currently teaches classes in spirituality, self empowerment, Reiki, and other modalities. In concert with God, the true source, he has also achieved great success and miraculous healings. Michael remains humble, knowing that the work that he does all comes from God, the true source. He lives in Lakewood, Washington, and has just launched his nonprofit. And I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor so you can talk a little bit about your nonprofit. And then, just when you're ready, we can start the message. I'm going to put me on mute and welcome Michael Gross.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Yes, the International Institute of Self Empowerment. And just those magical words is what it's all about. When some of you know the story and you've watched us say this before, but if there's any new people, True Source said I was supposed to start a nonprofit. Didn't know what it was going to be, what it was for, but I just listened. I'm not one of these that are going to analyze everything to death because everything must be for a positive reason. And then as it evolved, um, I met Tiiu, and Tiiu wrote a beautiful book called Healing the Souls of Your Heart and Healing the Souls of Your Soul, rather. And actually, it's also healing the soul, but not only healing your heart. Because you see, if we have low self worth, self love, and self esteem, not only does our soul suffer, but our heart suffers. So, with that vein and that thought, what happened was, in working with her, I began to understand about abuse and feminine abuse. And so I decided to make her director of the International Institute of Self Empowerment Division of Abuse. And there's nobody that has more expertise than anyone that I know than the beautiful soul known as Tiiu. What I'd like you all to understand is that you're welcome. What I'd like you all to understand is that, in our quest, and I'm learning so much about it, the true source said it was going to have 12 different divisions or arms. And the first one is healing abused women, children, and men. But also, Tiiu and I were talking, and, she said, well, I don't have a PhD in psych and all that stuff. I said, you're right. You don't. But you have a PhD in life experiences. And because you rose from the ashes like the phoenix, you have the expertise and the understanding of abuse and what it's all about and how to find light and go through the tunnel of darkness into the light. And so, therefore, that's why I asked her to be director of that division. And it's so important because, we meet so many people that are experts on everything. They have a book, they're expert, they read a book, oh, they know it all. But when you live it, experience, and you heal and you come through it, then you are truly the expert. So I honor you and thank you for being part of the International Institute of Self Empowerment. So I wanted to talk to all of you this evening about, our holiday message. So happy, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and whatever religion or whatever you're celebrating, I wish you a joy and happiness. And I thought while I'm talking to you this evening, there's so much we have to look forward to. And of course, this is a time where we give thanks. We give thanks that everything occurred in our life. And I wrote a while back on Facebook, I said, what would I change in my life? And I said, absolutely nothing. Because it made me who I am, what I am, and gave me the knowledge to be able to share all these things with you. Many people in my field read books, so they have a little bit of knowledge. Maybe they have a lot. Well, when I started my path, and I was told to start motivating souls and teaching, and I said, well, why me? And the answer I got is, first of all, you're going to be great at it. And I said, okay, sure. But the other half is that you lived it, you experienced it. You don't take it from a book, Michael. And so you also, like Tiiu, took a journey, and the journey led you to this point. So that's why I thought I'd share so much with you. As you know, the message that I deliver is totally channeled. No rehearsal. Usually I don't get the information on what I'm going to talk about until the last minute. But that's okay. I'm getting used to that after all these years. And I talked about giving thanks. Well, there's an axiom. And the axiom says, whatever you give thanks for, or whatever you give negativity to, or whatever you give power to, you keep recreating in your life. So if you say you're dumb, you're stupid, or whatever you say about yourself, or you say you'll never be a success, or whatever, congratulations. Because you are right. Because whatever you are stating comes back to you. What you think you create, what you create, you experience. So if we look at this season, why don't we make this an everyday? And every day, before you go to sleep or even when you wake up in the morning, just give thanks. Give thanks for everything that occurred. Because you see, even the challenges in our life empower us, and those challenges make us strong. Remember my quote from the true source: there's no such thing as failure. There's only success, because you learn what worked and didn't work. So here we are at this beautiful season of giving. And we give gifts and we give thanks and we thank everybody. And some of you will go to church and some of you will pray at your house. And some of you will do other things that are what I would call spiritual, but it makes no difference. But also, it is time for you to give thanks to yourself, something we're really short of. We don't spend enough time giving thanks to ourselves. And giving thanks to ourselves, give thanks for your life. Give thanks for waking up every day. Give thanks to be there for your family, your children, your husband, your wife, your relatives, your friends. Give thanks and share this every day. Go out and say to someone, thank you. Or say, you look great, or you have a beautiful smile. Just something little small. It'll move mountains, because you don't know what that person is going through. And if you don't know what they're going through, maybe they need a little joy and light in their life. And of course, when you compliment someone or you do something nice, what's the law? It comes back to you tenfold. No, I don't do it to have it come back to me tenfold. I do it because I desire to bring joy and healing to everyone around me, and also to have them share it. And spend a moment We're so easily criticized that we forget that maybe they're going through something that's very difficult. Maybe they're going through something very insecure. Maybe there's sickness, an illness, or a loss. Maybe there's anxiety. And then we have to stop and think, wow, maybe they need a little smile. Maybe they need some help. I don't know what they're going through. But whatever it is, maybe I can help them by complimenting themselves. The other day I was driving and I was turning into the right hand lane, and there was a car in front of me that was in a hurry. He cut over into the right hand lane where I was pulling into, which is where I was going to make a right hand turn, not quite yet. And he was so much in a hurry, and I just saw him at the corner of my eye, and he sped around me, and he was in such a hurry that he went 25 feet and there was a red light. Meanwhile, I was able to take my right hand turn, and I go, what is with these guys? He gained 10 seconds, 6 seconds, and he got stuck at a light. What is going on? And then I realized he's probably in a hurry. He's probably frustrated, probably angry. And so just forgive him. And so what I did was ask the true source to send him unconditional love. So when you meet people today, every day, and you see they're angry or frustrated, you can see it on their face. Just ask the true source to send them unconditional love. And while you're at it, don't exclude you, include yourself, and ask for unconditional love for you, because we can all need that and all use that. We look around in this world right now, and it's in a little better mood than it was a week ago. Of course, there's some frustration from people. Got to get this last minute Christmas gifts. But the greatest gift in life is you. You are a gift. Your life is a gift. Every morning you wake up is a gift. You chose to be here. You really did. Perhaps some of you were coerced by spirit to be here because you didn't want to come here. And that has happened in the past. But you still had the choice of turning it down or not. So here you are. And the gift of life, think about the beauty of life. Think of what happens. I love the change of seasons, although some of you live in climates that you don't have quite the change of seasons that we have. But that's okay. But give thanks for the breath, for the air, for the flowers, to see the sun, for the beautiful meals you're having, for the friendships you're having. Even give thanks for the most difficult lessons you chose, because these lessons are empowering you. And you build up a plethora of all this information, all the strength and everything you've done. And now it's time for you to look at everything you've overcome in your life, whether it be a broken ankle, skin and knee, perhaps flunking a subject and going to summer school and passing, and in your relationships, what you've learned, and your families and your friends. Give thanks for all these gifts. And sometimes friends come in and out of your life, and that's okay, because either they've outgrown you or you've outgrown them or whatever. But it's so important. I was talking to a person who went to Bible college many years ago, and he's become a very spiritual soul. And as we were talking, we were talking about a relationship to the true source. And I say everybody's an aspect of the true source because where is the origin of our soul? It comes from the true source. And in the Old Testament, it said we're made in the image of God. Well, that's our soul, our attachment. But as we were talking, he said, in ancient times, Jesus would call everybody brother and sister. Hello, brother. Hello, sister. And sometimes we use that phrase. But what does it really mean? And it really means, as he and I were talking, it really means that we are all part of the one. We're all part of the true source. And technically, everybody is my sister. Everybody is my brother. Even my children are my brothers and sisters, as well as the person across the street that I don't even know, or someone in a shopping mall, a woman or whatever. We're all related. We're all related because the essence of our soul comes from the true source. And we forget that we are of this planet, not in the motion of the planet. And we created out of love, by love, and from love, and with love. It's important for us to remember. To you would like to add something?
I would. Thank you, Michael. What you were just saying, that we are all of love, by love, and from love. And when we think about that as being brother and sister, then why would we treat anybody any differently than we would treat our own family? Even if we don't know them yet, when we have that kind of a mindset, that loving, positive mindset, um, it would be so much easier and much kinder. It would be a much gentler place to live, don't you think, in our world?
Absolutely. And if we just change our mindset to realize that we're all related, maybe we don't realize our relationship. I'm not talking about cousins, aunts, uncles, distant cousins, 27th removed. It's not anything like that. But I'm talking about that within us, that love, that essence of us as you is in everybody else. And sometimes there are souls that make difficult choices. And some of those choices create chaos in their life. And some of those choices bring love and joy and happiness. Therefore, if you understand it's a choice, key word choice, what are you choosing in your life right now? What are you choosing to experience? Yes, there are souls around you that are angry and upset. But if you realize that whatever they're going through, they're frustrated, they don't have any answers. And how many times have you been around friends? And you've been around friends and they promise you all kinds of things and they kind of forget or they don't follow through on their promises. And I talked to the true source one day and I said, this is really frustrating. All these people made promises and they forgot about them. And the true source said, Michael, the time they made a promise or an agreement with you, it was what their intent was. They really meant it. And then they got distracted and they forgot about it. Therefore, give thanks for whatever promise or agreement they make, but don't count on it because they may be distracted. And maybe, Michael, you've done the same thing. That's where we come out with the phraseology: no expectations, no attachments. Then you can never be disappointed. Realize the person that made that promise meant what they meant at that time, but maybe extenuating floating, extenuating things happened. And therefore, these things that happened, they couldn't follow through. And maybe they were too embarrassed to even say something. So these extenuating circumstances that have occurred in their life cut up some slack, and you can choose to be friends or not. But don't be angry because really, when you're angry, you never realize this. You're not so much angry at them, you're angry at yourself for trusting them. Therefore, no expectations, no attachments. This life has changed in my lifetime, and it's becoming very fast paced. And if you watch people in social media, it's such a shame. And social media, which we are using right now, is a great vehicle. But what I'm learning is if you don't get their attention in the first 10 seconds, they don't want anything to do with you. And then if you don't get their attention for over 30 or 40 seconds, they're not going to listen to you. Wow. What a way to have a conversation. That would be like saying, let's go out to dinner. No, I don't want dinner. Goodbye. Didn't that sound extraordinary? And I mean, it's terrible. But really, if you use that analogy, that's what people are doing. We forgot that, we forgot the gift of conversation, the gift of love, the gift of sharing. And you can agree not to disagree. Because, I love sharing information. And I love information that's contrary to mine because I learned something. But I also love that when we're done, we're still friends and we still enjoy each other's company. And I know Tiiu wanted to add something.
I do. Thank you. When you said that about just having a conversation, it took me back to when that was the only way we actually got to know people. When we would meet them and sit down and have a cup of coffee or tea and just spend a little time getting to know one another with a conversation. And it reminded me of this, where in our world today, when we text, when we do any kind of messenger, the energy of the emotion isn't in that message, and it can be misread and misunderstood. And it's not like you intentionally said anything wrong, but if they're coming at a time and they're reading that message from a different perspective, then your message is getting messed up. And we have to, I think that sometimes we're better off going back to the way we used to, just sitting down and having a conversation,
Well,
especially now. Excuse me for butting in, but especially now, because look at all the ways that we can talk, like right now.
absolutely. And that gives the opportunity to see the expression on someone's face and exactly how they feel. And of course, when you're on in one to one, there's an exchange of energy. It goes like this. And when it's angry, you can feel it and you can sense it. And when it's loving and caring, you can feel it and sense it. And as I've talked before, they have discovered that the younger children who so much are on the phone and they're on the internet and whatever, their brains are developing differently. And therefore, the cognitive ability is different. And their ability to socialize is different. And they don't really realize how it's changing them, how they're becoming more reclusive. But it's up to us who have more knowledge, or as grandmothers, grandfathers, husbands, wives, whatever our position is, mothers, fathers, even friends. It's up to us to learn that we need to socialize. We need to have one on one conversation, whether you do it on Zoom, whether you do it on any kind of vehicle that you're using. It's so important that we do that. And we forget that. We forget that one on one conversation, the one on one exchange of energy. This is a season when I'm talking to all of you to review your life and see what's important, to give thanks for your friendship, but also to give thanks for everything that's occurred in your life. I'm kind of checking the time. We have a couple minutes left. So, everyone, I want everybody to understand that when you go to sleep tonight, give thanks for your life and everything that happened. In the morning, give thanks for waking up. But what also is important, give thanks for the lessons you've learned. If something didn't work out, give thanks that I learned something well, that this didn't work out. But one of the things you have to realize in life is there is always a solution. There's always an answer. Even if the mountain is 14,400 feet high, there's a way to get around the mountain. You can try climbing over it, which could be treacherous, or you can walk around it and still come to the other side. Therefore, I want all of you to remember in this beautiful holiday season that within you is the answers to all of your problems and situations. You may not want to listen to it, you may not disagree it, but your soul is telling you, and the source, this is the direction you need to take. So let's take the direction now of bringing about love and joy and happiness, thanking everyone for being in their life, and giving thanks for all the lessons you've learned in your life. Because remember, whatever you give thanks for, you get back tenfold. So I know we're beginning to conclude, and with that thought in mind, I want everybody to understand that this is being brought to you by Healing the Holes in Your Soul by Tiiu Napp.
And the spiritual primer, you caught me off guard, Michael. The spiritual primer by Dr. Michael Gross. I I highly recommend you start with this one, because if it wasn't for this incredible book and that amazing man right next to me, the one he's holding would not have been written. He is a phenomenal uh, guide to learning more about your inner voice, your soul, and how everything that we do in our life, there's a reason why we do it. And it starts right here. It really, truly does. I want to thank you, Michael, from the bottom of my heart for putting this beautiful book in my hands. And why don't you tell everybody here really quick? I'm going to put this down, but tell everybody really quick a little bit more about your upcoming book, okay?
Absolutely. And so, again, I want to thank you for helping me do this wonderful podcast and being an inspiration to many, many women and children and men. I'm coming out with a new book, and the new book is a reprint Part of it is the spiritual primer, but there's lots of new information on the 12 manifestation protocols. So a lot of things have been enhanced and changed. A little bit of challenge, and that is there's a shortage of paper in the United States, and therefore I was forced to go to overseas to get it printed. And I expect to have it in a couple of months. Actually, I'm having some air freighted when they first get it done, so I'll have some copies. But it's a primer, but also shares much information that can change your life. So, with that thought and said, I want to talk to everybody about some exciting things that I do and Tiiu assists me, and that is every Tuesday evening from 6:30 p.m. Pacific time to 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. I do what I call time for you to ask questions about spirituality. It's time for you to have anything answered. Hopefully, I can answer the questions, and I deliver a 10-minute motivational speech. So first of all, I invite all of you from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And it's on freeconferencecall.com. And that telephone number is
You can dial 202-926-1059 and the access code, Michael?
125446 #.
I'll give that again. It's also in the comments section if you're on Facebook, or you can also see it up on YouTube. So we have to make sure that you dial in Tuesday night, 202-926-1059 and the access code.
125446 #.
Okay. Okay, Michael.
Also, the second Saturday of every month, I have what is called Healing the Mass Consciousness. And it's from 9:55 a.m. Pacific time to 11:01 Pacific time, a.m. of course. In the first few minutes I talk, and then it's done in silence. So should you join us late, just realize that it's already begun, but you're more than welcome. And really, it's magical things will happen in your life because remember, whatever you think you create, whatever you create, you experience. So if you're taking part in healing the mass consciousness, you get the benefit of that as well. And that telephone number is the same as what I call the Tuesday evening call in. And that number is 202
926-1059.
and the
Access
access
code?
code is 125446 #. It's the same identical number and the same access number. Now, we have what I call the replays of the words of wisdom. And there's 200, about almost 260 of them. Starts at number 3. And we're going to give you that telephone number. So if you're tied up in traffic, you're angry, you're depressed, you're alone, just dial the number. You can listen to the recording. It'll ask you number 3 to 258 or whatever it is, and you will automatically pick the right number. And many people call me, I just chose number 173. And I don't know why, but it's just what I needed to hear. And to access that information,
That number is 434-300-4170 and
the access code is 125446 #.
I'll give that number again. It's 434-300-4170 and the code?
Access code is 125446 #. And really, on this Thursday evening, of course, please subscribe. Please tell everybody about our motivational message and words of wisdom. And also, twice a week, what I do is those messages that I've recorded, the audio messages, you can go to YouTube, Dr. Michael B. Gross, and you can listen to them. There's a beautiful photograph, and there's a little bit of a saying on it, words of wisdom. Photographs are taken by Tiiu Napp. She's an award-winning photographer, and they're very, very inspirational. And I'm so happy for her to be part of it. So all you do is access it, listen to an 8 or 12-minute message, and you can see the beautiful pictures, the words of wisdom, and also hear the message that's delivered. So I want to thank all of you so much for joining us this Thursday evening. I want all of you to know that we love you. We wish you a happy holidays. Wish you joy and happiness and everything that fulfills your life. So everyone, thank you so much. To you, you want to say something?
I do. I do. If you go to Dr. Michael B. Gross on YouTube, you can also take his recordings and share them. So if you know someone who's struggling or just needs a little motivation, those 10-minute recordings are shareable. And we also have all of the recordings that we've been doing for almost 2 years now in Michael's YouTube channel. So definitely, definitely go and subscribe to his channel so that you're not going to miss the golden nuggets that Michael shares with all of us. And on that note,
Just want to share one more thing. And
okay,
that's one of my gifts I want to give to all of you. There is a recording, or an MP3 as we would say, and it's called Raising Your Vibrations. And it's a little over 59 minutes long, and there's white noise, and you can choose to mute the white noise or enjoy it. Play it when you're depressed, play it when you go to sleep. When I play it at night for myself, as I put it on mute because I don't want to hear the white noise. But more importantly, you're going to feel a difference. So when you're cleaning the house or you're sitting around, you will feel something different because in that MP3, it has the true source of energy and vibrations. And what it does is raise your vibrations. So all you need to do is, and we'll put the information there, is email me at Dr. Michael Gross, numerical 1, at gmail.com. It's all small case, DR, no period. Dr. Michael Gross, 1, at gmail.com. So just email me and I'll make sure you get a copy of it. You can play it. So thank you, everyone.
okay. Great point. I'm glad you shared that, Michael, because it's really easy. We can send that to you one way or the other. We can messenger it. It's a phenomenal link, and I listen to it at least 3 times a day. I put it on when I go to sleep at night, and it's made a world of difference in my life. And so has this wonderful man next door to me. So on that note, I'd like to go. I'd like to go ahead and give you guys your evening back. Thank you, thank you, thank you for popping in. We have nothing but unconditional love for all of you. And I know up here in the Pacific Northwest, it's going to be a dicey, icy weather day tomorrow. So stay safe, stay well, stay warm. And Michael, anything else you want to add before we end?
No, again, happy holidays. And just remember, you are unlimited. Namaste, everyone. Have a great
Namaste.
week.
Happy holidays.
We love you.